All right, everybody. It is that time. It is that time again for a Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday, y'all. So listen, I want to thank everybody as I'm getting synced up here. I want to make sure I am connected and you all can see me live on Facebook and on YouTube. And it looks like we are official. So with that being said, I want to welcome everybody here again on ColumbusBlack.com's Wellness Wednesday Lunch and Learn. We are excited today because I have two amazing panelists that are joining me today, and you all are going to learn a little bit more about them shortly. But in addition to learning about them, you're going to be able to partake in a conversation around some really important things that we have going on, okay? So as you all may know, with Wellness Wednesday, this is all about the well-being of the Black community, right? So everything from personal finances to health to mental wellness. Normally, we would have an art segment here with the Artist Voice, which is sponsored by Columbus Makes Art. And we would be talking about the balance that they bring to us as well from a well-being perspective. Today, due to our panelists in the dynamic conversation we're going to have around finances, okay, and in life insurance, this is going to take us a little while to get through some of this information. So what I want to do is I want to make sure everybody knows, for those that are joining us for the first time ever, ColumbusBlack.com is the online portal connecting the Black community to commerce and culture, primarily in Central Ohio, but obviously with the internet, we are abroad. And we want to make sure that we have an ability to leverage our platform, which is an omni-channel platform that's been around for 16 years to connect our community through our website, through our email blast, our text blast, as well as social as well, which is why you're able to see us doing our virtual events here on Facebook as well as live on YouTube. We address a myriad of topics, and we just recently launched our 2021 lineup, which includes Matchmaker Mondays, where we focus on things such as matchmaking and dating and relationships. Talent Tuesday, where we have our companies come on and talk about the company, their culture, as well as career opportunities. Then we do In the Midnight Hour for those needing spiritual guidance, having the ability to get that message in the midnight hour. And if you missed that last night at midnight, you can go back and check us out on our Facebook page, and you can get that information as well. Now, on Wellness Wednesdays, which is what we're doing today, I'm not going to tell you much more about it. It's about well-being, and y'all will understand how that all connects a little bit later. And then on Thursdays, we do Throwback Thursdays, our version of it, which takes us back to how we used to support each other around our businesses. So we have our Support Black Business series. And then on Fridays, we have Foodie-licious Fridays, which is, man, it's so tasty. I'll tell you, it's good. You need to join us at 7 p.m. on Fridays. And then we also have the Ecosystem, which is focused on startup founders in the Black and Brown ecosystem that we have throughout our state. And then obviously we have Kim C's and Dami Styles music picks as well. We have a couple of new segments that are going to be announced in the very near future as well, focused on our 30 and younger. So we'll let you all know about that, as well as our technology for all our techies out there. But with that being said, that's a little bit about us and what we do for those that are just learning. And our goal is to really keep you connected to the things that are important and relevant to you. But with that being said, it is time for us to jump in to Wellness Wednesdays. Now, what I want to do is I want to introduce our two panelists. You can see them there on the screen now. We have with us today, we're going to do ladies first. Y'all see them waving their hands, all right? Check it out. They're ready to go. So I hope y'all are ready, all right? So make sure, so first thing before I introduce them, for those that are watching this, I want you to do one thing for me. I'm going to ask you multiple times. I want you to hit the share button. Right now, take a moment and hit the share button, right? You have family members, you have friends, you have coworkers. They need to hear this and they need to see this, okay? And the other thing is, y'all see my background. I'm bringing this live to you guys from Venture Suite, all right? We'll tell you all about that a little bit later. But with that being said, we start with ladies first. We have Nicole Gibbs on the line with us today. Nicole, welcome to ColumbusBlack.com's Wellness Wednesday Lunch and Learn. Would you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself real quick?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am truly grateful to be able to speak amongst this platform. I'm super excited, and I am Tawana Nicole Gibbs.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
My preferred name is Necole. I go by Necole. So half of my friends and family know me as, my family know me as Tawana. A lot of my friends know me as Necole. When I moved to Atlanta, we'll talk about that later. But I am the owner am principal licensed agent with TNG Insurance Services. That's my initials, Tawana Nicole Gibbs. Started about, do I just jump in? Do I just go first?
Well,
or
give us the quick. No, that's the start off. So give us the quick 30-second, and then we'll jump into Perry. He'll do his quick 30 or 60, and then we're gonna jump into what you all really do. Okay?
Yeah. So yeah, that's just I'm the principal licensed agent with TNG Insurance Services, which is my company. It is the company that I own. I am super proud to be able to say that and empower and motivate everyone else that wants to start a business. So that's all I got right now.
Okay, that's good stuff. And how long have you been in business?
I've been in business for since 2019.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Right. All right.
Yep.
Cool. Love it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Pete Jeff, well, I call him Pete. See, I call you Nicole, it's Tawana. I call him Pete Jeff, it's Perry. That's what relationships do. I want to introduce Perry Jeffries III. My apologies.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, Nicole, pleasure to connect with you. Looking forward to rocking with you here. Kevin, obviously, man, always appreciate the platform, what you do for the community, for the people, just for everybody in general, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Always happy to support. So real quick, Perry Jeffries here, the president of Diamond Equity Advisors, a full service investment advisory and business consultancy firm located here in Columbus, Ohio, with clients across the country, actually across the globe, because we do have clients in Australia. Who we are and what we do. Our brand is, we're the Entrepreneur CFO. Our vision is to help close the wealth gap one business at a time. And we do that through our advisory services, investment services, as well as our fractional CFO platform, where we are a CFO for multiple businesses across the country. Just happy to be here. Also, I'm from Akron. Yeah. Ready to go.
Yeah. Y'all know a little bit about Akron. I think y'all heard about Akron, right? Especially those kids that come from Akron, right? And the great things they do. All right. So listen, with that being said, once again, I want to thank both of y'all for joining us today, especially because of our focus, right? So this is about Wellness Wednesday, and it's about, it's a lunch and learn. So we want to actually, hopefully people are eating their lunch and they're learning about things that are important to them, tied to well-being. And today it's about the personal finances, it's about insurance and all of those financial components and how they relate to our well-being. So for those that are sitting there saying, what does this have to do with well-being? I'm gonna open it up to you all to share a little bit about, wellness in our community and how what you do actually relates to our well-being. So we're gonna stick with the ladies first, and Tawana, I'm gonna come to you real quick. And from your perspective and how you deal with your clients and what you see and what you do, which you can kind of talk a little bit more about that, as well as how it impacts our well-being. I'm gonna turn it over to you first.
So it's very important to understand that you don't know what you don't know. And if someone actually is coming to give you information, you know what I'm saying, that can help and empower you, you have to listen to them. We are licensed, expert, trained to help people close gaps, help people protect what's theirs. And I ended up being the insurance lady by accident. It just kind of like, I just kind of fell into it and it caught me, because I would never thought I would have been wearing this hat at all. I started at State Farm with Noelle Thornton, State Farm Agency. We started together. She was the agent and I was the sales consultant in her business, and she poured into me. She invested in me. She got me all the way together. She was Tennessee State. I'm so grateful. She's a Delta. She's here in Atlanta. Yep. Don't quite quote me, but I think she went to Tennessee State. But she was very influential in my journey as far as this is concerned, and I'm grateful to her. But I outgrew that space, and I was offered a cash opportunity to start my own business. And I was like, I'll grab that, because I've always wanted to do that. To be honest, me and Jobs just never got along. Hey,
that
always
happens.
late. I was efficient in what I did, but I did it the way I did it. And you can't do that when you're under the authority of someone else. But anyway, that's how I got started.
So you're speaking to some folks right now. I mean, that's tied to well-being. Let's keep it real, right? Like if you can't work in certain environments, it creates all types of stress and discomfort and anguish and all those things, right? So I'm glad you're sharing that story. That's important.
Yeah, wellness is important, and it goes beyond just finances. That it has everything to do with mindset and what you pour into yourself. So wellness is all about what you tell yourself and talk to yourself and do and share. It's way bigger than, but you got to take baby steps to get to a certain point. But wellness goes far beyond finances. Finances is just one of the key components of it. There's and I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna let Mr. PJ go. But there is, I was doing some spiritual work, just kind of like, I need to feed my spirit. And I was tired of reading what I was reading. And I was like, I want to be inspired. And I bought these lucky bamboo plants around me. And I was like, I need to figure out what these stocks mean. And doing that research, it empowered me, it educated me on the culture of the Chinese and how they use these plants and things like that to help with their wellness. To learn that it's right, wellness is all around us. You just have to kind of just understand it's not this big grandiose thing. It's really just taking small bites at a time to make you better, and it'll all come together. And then you run into somebody like me or Mr. Perry.
Okay. So listen, y'all, I started doing these. I think this might be new to Nicole or Tawana. I think Perry's seen these before. These are called gem drops, right? So when they drop gems, I start going like this because they dropping those gems on y'all, all right? So she's been dropping some gems, so we want to keep that going. So Perry, we're going to turn it over to you, right? So obviously you can either segue off of what she just shared, right? I know there's some relativity there, or you can talk a little bit and get us kicked off with the relativity between what you do, right, and how it relates to our well-being, right? And I know you focus on companies, but still, you had a strong financial background.
So let's segue. I love what the sister said about you don't know what you don't know, and so let's play off of that. And then little background on myself, and Kev, I know you're familiar with this. Most people don't know that I'm actually a strength and conditioning coach. So on the health and wellness side, one of the first companies I started was Financially Fit, spelled with PHY, naturally fit, because health and wealth are tied together. So here's the deal: when we start talking about what we do, and on the surface, it looks like, hey, we're just managing money, or hey, we're just advising on these investments, or this retirement plan, or this how you manage your cash flow. None of that's what's on the surface. What's underneath that is giving people peace of mind. So when we talk about the health of our community, if your paper is jacked up, if you owe taxes, if you ain't making no money, if your business ain't profitable, if you don't know if you can retire, your stress levels are high. So let's keep it totally 100, right? What's the leading cause of divorce? It ain't infidelity. It's your paper is jacked up. We're not on the same page with our money. So what we find ourselves doing a lot, man, and what we do from an advisory standpoint is managing, to Nicole's point, kind of the mindset piece, managing the psychology around money. Because if you don't have a good relationship with your paper, and your paper don't have a good relationship with you, you're going to be stressed out. So that's what that is. So what we do from a collective standpoint, we focus on entrepreneurs. We can jump in and talk about stocks and crypto and all of that. But ultimately what we're doing is managing the mentality, managing the psychology around money, and positioning our clients to get in the right place. Because if your paper is jacked up, you're going to be stressed out. That's going to put stress on your physical. That's going to put stress on your mental. You know what I'm saying? It's going to put stress on your relationship. You got to have your paper together. So that's what we specialize in. And I think that's how we kind of tie this piece together. And Nicole, are we going with Tawana or Nicole? Because I see Nicole, but I want to make sure I'm talking to you. You want T, Tawana, or Nicole?
Nicole is fine.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so, that means you're going beyond the family to the friend status. All right. So I just want you to understand that.
Got it, no doubt. So when you bring professionals like Nicole and I in, we have products and we can give advice, but ultimately giving you peace of mind. When you get your insurance together, you have peace of mind knowing that if you get jacked up, your family is taken care of. You sleep better knowing that. You know what I'm saying? At least responsible people. So anyway, that's how we tie that together.
Okay, hold on. Y'all over here just dropping gems left and right. We came right out the gate dropping gems. Okay, so I'm loving where y'all are going, and hopefully people can see how to connect in the dots. We're talking about peace of mind, right? Like when your paper's not right, as he said, or you don't have that insurance coverage, guess what? Your mind is not right. You can't. How do you sleep at night? We all know. Come on, we all know what it's like. Come on, when it's not right, you don't have the peace of mind. Your well-being is not there. You got the stress levels, all that other good stuff. And like he said, it starts to impact a whole bunch of other things, right? Relationships, all that good stuff. So, wow, y'all are right out the gate. So let's talk about this, right? Because on top of all of what you just started with, last year we had the second pandemic hit the Black community, right? So we had the first pandemic that's been going on for hundreds of years, right? Then all of a sudden we have this pandemic and more people out of work. Unemployment already was high, triple the nation, and then it skyrockets, right? Yep. Then they drop some stimulus checks, but then those go away, right? So when you look at how that has impacted our community, what have you all been seeing, right? I just want to know, because then we're going to get to some solutions and how we come out of that, especially in 2021. But I'm wondering what you all saw over the last year as it impacted the Black community. And
ladies go first.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you want to go?
Okay, cool. I'll grab it. So what I saw, especially when this thing really got heavy, you know, saying on onset of it back in March, right? March 2020. And I saw people freaking out. I saw people stressed out, you know what I'm saying, losing jobs, you know what I'm saying, can't go to work, we can't do this, right? And what it did was expose the issues that we, you know what I'm saying, have in the Black community. So it's easy, you know what I'm saying, when you got your paycheck coming in, that direct deposit is hitting. But are you prepared for when that direct deposit hit? Are you prepared for when your business no longer generates revenue? Are you prepared for that? So what the pandemic did, it forced a lot of people to really look at their finances and their financial situation and realize, man, I need some work. I need some help. So you saw kind of a couple different things. You had some people kind of just throw their arms up and, hey, I need to get this. And then you saw other folks who was like, man, it's time to make that pivot. So we've seen a lot of businesses, you know what I'm saying, come out of this pandemic, which I absolutely love, because entrepreneurship is how we're going to be able to close this wealth gap. But with respects to that, we got to make sure that we have the financial literacy and the team around us and able to, you know what I'm saying, do that. So with that being said, man, the pandemic, for me, what I saw was it just exposed a lot of folks, like the folks who ride around in the big boy cars and big cribs. I mean, you didn't have 3 months of expenses set aside, let alone 1 month. But if you were out of work for 1 month at the onset of the pandemic and you couldn't pay your bills, that should be a telltale sign that your paper ain't right. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you should have that cushion to be able to make it through that. So what the pandemic did is expose, and then hopefully what it did was bring people to the table and say, yo, I need to get this right. So that's kind of what I saw.
Absolutely.
So for me,
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
It was an adverse though for me and the people that I service. So for me, it was, I had already put them in something safe that wasn't going as far as with their products. They didn't move, they didn't budge, they was just chilling, just like an index account does. So because I put them in index products, they didn't have to worry about COVID. They were more worried about their health and their family. They didn't have that because I had already covered that. So it was a little bit different. My phone wasn't ringing off the hook because they were good. And the people that were thinking about possibly transferring over to that type of account, they just stood still. It was just like, okay, I'm good. And then another thing is, a lot of people in my, I guess, circle basically were blessed. So they were able to go ahead and take care of everything they needed to take care of, because a lot of times it's not that they don't want to do it, it's just that they really can't afford to do it. And when, you know, the government is giving assistance to help those, and they use, my whole objective is everybody is not on the level of, you know, being able to have a portfolio with 1,000 different investments. Some people are just on the level whereas in they have to protect and they have to keep things flowing. And that's kind of what I help with. And so from the novice to the person that knows exactly what to do with their money. A lot of people in my circle, they were good. And if I had offered them things that they needed in addition, they came back and bought it. I mean, that's been my experience with COVID.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
really good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And the reason why is because I know, Perry, you have a very similar thought process and strategy for your clients and people that you've worked with, right? It's about being set up from the beginning and having a plan, right? So I won't jump in and explain that, but this is a great opportunity, I think, for both of you to help our community and those that are listening, our viewers, to understand how, like, what steps they should be taking now, right? If they don't have a plan or strategy that y'all are talking about. So those that were in a situation where you didn't have beyond a month, right? Or even a week, some cases, I mean, people are check to check, right? So we talk about a month, but some people were 2 weeks, right? So I want to talk about the plan and the strategy. Help us understand what does that even mean? And then we want to talk about how people can get going and get started. So P, I'm gonna go back to you from what Nicole just shared, because obviously she has set her clients up. How do you set your clients up, and what's your thought process and theory around that?
Yeah. So for sure, to kind of piggyback off what Nicole said, my clients weren't blowing me up. I was looking more so at the, overall population. The overall population don't have financial advisors, right?
Right.
The overall population does not have a financial team. The majority of folks do not. I think I saw some stats a while back that said that only 73% of individuals will never be able to retire, and 73% of individuals do not have, 80% of individuals don't have a written plan. So that means that the rest of the entire population were clueless during this time. So for our clients, yeah, they're winning because they have that team in place.
Yeah.
If a lot of individuals, they realize, like, man, I need some guidance in this, right? So our whole focus is plan. I use the analogy all the time. Everybody want to talk about cryptocurrency trading and Forex and stocks, and everybody out here winning and posting all of their trades on social media, which I find is absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, it's like this. Do you have the house, or do you just have the furniture? And a lot of times folks are going out and buying the furniture and don't have a house. You know what I'm saying? Don't even have the drawings for the house. And that's what a financial plan is. So the financial plan you get with a financial expert who can kind of draw this plan out. So kind of what our planning process is 6 components: budget and cash
Break it
flow,
down.
risk management, right? So first, make sure your cash flow, let's get your cash flow together. Then you have risk management, which is going to cover the insurance and things of that nature. Then you have a retirement planning, which is actually knowing your number. It ain't nest egg. Is, hey, let's identify the income, the future sustainable income to cover our lifestyle expenses. So you have a choice of whether or not you want to get out to bid or not. Then it's investing. Understanding what type of return on investment you need and things of that nature. Then it's tax planning and optimization. Then you get into, your estate planning. So in my world, if you don't have all 6 of those components, you don't have a plan. You might have bits and pieces. You might have a 401k over here. You got a whole life policy over here. But if you don't have a plan, then you don't know where to put the furniture in the house. So when you have a plan, you can navigate through a pandemic because the plan has already taken in consideration the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of people didn't have it. Mind, you know what I'm saying? And so it was all ugly for them. And it's like, yo, I don't even know what to do right now, right? You know what I'm saying? The CARES Act, the pandemic wrote out the CARES Act that said you could take money out your 401k. I had some of the sharpest people in the world calling me up like, hey, I want to sell out of my 401k. And what? But no, that's not what the provision said. The provision that's, you know what I'm saying? Oh, but it said that you can just take all your money out your 401k. No. It said you could take some money out and avoid the 10% penalty. You still owe them taxes.
You gonna
right.
So you gonna pay. So again, had they not called, and they're not even a client, had they just not called and got advice, you know what I'm saying, on 100 stacks, they looking at 30, 40 grand. They got to figure out how to make up, you know what I'm saying, the next couple of years. So again, y'all, that's why it's super important to have a plan and surround yourself and have a plan and build your financial team.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, something tells me you can sleep a lot better at night, and it's got to be taking a lot of stress off when you have a plan like that. So Nicole, go ahead. You were gonna say, I apologize, but Matt James was dropped. Yeah.
I mean, a lot, everything what he's saying is so true. And it's basically parallel. It follows it's the same formula. It's just a different person that's presenting it to you, as far as it goes. But preparation is important. We have 3. I wouldn't remember 6, so I kind of bunch everything up in one. My mind, Kevin will tell you, the way my mind works is it is so different. But preparation is very important to me. Knowing what's coming in, if you know what's coming in and you know what's going out, then you can start to create. But if you don't even ever since I was 16 years old, I was writing down my bills and what I had to pay. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't the best person when it came to budgeting and finances and all of that stuff. But once I got to State Farm and Noel kind of got me together, I changed a lot of my habits. And a lot of it is habits. Like he said, Perry said something about the psychology of changing the mindset. You have to change your mindset about finances. You cannot just let it go anywhere it wants to go. You have to tell it where to go and how to grow. That's what we do. And I'm going to say this, when my clients were okay, but my world was falling apart with COVID. The organization that I was with, because I'm an independent broker, and I want to be contracted with all these different companies and have all these different relationships so that when I meet with someone, I can help them. And I can't, one of the reasons why I didn't start a State Farm agency is because I would be captive and limited. And you don't want to be captive and limited because you can't offer your clients the best thing for them. So being able to have relationships with different insurance and annuity companies, it gives me leverage, and it helps me help like leggings. This is not one size fits all. It doesn't work that way. Everybody has their own specific plan, and it starts with preparation. You have to budget. You have to know the financial facts of your life. So it starts with that. Once you know that number, you go to protection, because the cost of no protection adds up. If somebody, if something happens in your home and you don't even have renter's insurance, ain't about $15 a month.
Hold on.
We got to start at the beginning. So I start at the beginning and get you going so that you can talk to Perry and get your taxes right. And, so I kind of get you going. That's where I am. So protection is important. Life and health is important. You need it to live. And a lot of people think life insurance is just about, oh, if I die, you're going to get this money. Yes, we need that money to pay the bills. We need that, especially if you have kids.
That's right. Drop it.
It's important. And let me tell you something. Newsbreak comes on my phone every minute or so. Download the app. The amount of crime that is going on, the amount of people that die, 150,000 people die every single day.
150,000.
Fact check.
Okay. So
make sure. So you have to protect. You have to prepare. Know your budget. You have to protect, and then once all your protection is in place, you have to make sure you put everything into growth, which goes into retirement planning. So that's kind of the steps. Your 1, 2, 3.
Your 1, 2, 3.
My 1, 2, 3.
So listen, I'm over here because I've had conversations with both of y'all here and there. And it's like, y'all don't realize it, but y'all like running down the court like them kids in Akron, passing the ball back and forth between each other, right? With the flow. So she just dished it off to you, P, right?
Let me catch the oop. You ain't got to say less. Let me catch the oop. You already threw the oop. Let me catch the oop. So Sister Nicole says something. So Sister Nicole says something here, you know what I'm saying? I was over here cracking up because I say it to clients as well. She said, your finance, you got to tell it, you know what I'm saying, where to go and where to grow, right? So here's the deal, y'all, with money, because again, we're going to tie this back to the Wellness Wednesdays, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think we all agree that managing money starts with mindset, right? You know what I'm saying? But here's the deal. Your mindset around money has to be kind of the same way it is around your children, right? Okay. You got to raise money. You know what I'm saying? You birthed it. Now you got to raise it. You got to tell it what to do, right? You know what I'm saying? So what we tell clients all the time is like, yo, let no dollar go unemployed. If your kid, you know what I'm saying, if you got kids, we, you know what I'm saying, you know, we got 11-year-old twins here, right? If I left the crib for the entire summer and left the twins in here with, you know what I'm saying, no guidance, nothing to do, it's going to be 10,000 TikTok videos, you know what I'm saying? They going to be making hamburger helper and hash browns and cheese eggs. They're going to burn the crib down. You know what I'm saying? Nobody going to work out, right? You know what I'm saying? Nobody going to exercise. They can't play ball anymore because they need guidance. You know what I'm saying? So that's how money is. If your money doesn't have a job before it hits your pocket, it's gonna find some reckless to get into, just like kids. So when the sister said that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like your money has to have a job before it even hits your account. But whether you're self-employed, got a W-2, before the money hits your account, it needs to have a pre-assigned job. If it doesn't, it is going to find some trouble to get into, like some teenagers, you know what I'm saying, with their parents gone for the entire summertime. So I'd love that, sis, you know what I'm saying? When you said that, I was over here cracking up. And that's huge, because again, that goes to the mindset piece, because we don't think about money being our kids, right? You birthed it, you went out and earned it. Now you need to raise it. You need to tell it what to do. You need to treat, you know what I'm saying, teach it what's right from wrong. I just made that up. That's a freestyle. I just made that up today. Yeah, so man.
Y'all ain't know he can freestyle like that. Go ahead, B.
Word. So I think this conversation is so powerful, especially again, tying it back to the Wellness Wednesdays, because your financial, like when you think about the things that's like, what's super important, your spiritual health, right? Your spiritual wellness, right? Your physical wellness and your financial wellness. I mean, really, that's it. You know what I'm saying? When you think about from a wellness standpoint, we got to get this together, because it's too stressful in the community. Yep. Go ahead.
It's too stressful.
And piggyback off of you, like you were saying, mental too, because we have to feed this mind the right things. You have to feed your mind, your soul, your spirit, whatever. You can't be sleepwalking through life, not intentionally doing things. Like you said, as far as wellness is concerned, physical, holistically adopting practices, that's important too. All of these things correlate to wellness. There are so many things out there now that's steering people away. One of the things I use in my planning consultations is the CDC is saying that we're going to live until 85. So if you retire at 50, you're 35 years into your retirement. If you retire at 60, so that means you have to live through that. And if you have to live through that, not only should your finances be together, but your body got to be together too now.
That's right.
You know, and because they're saying we're living longer because of technology, everything is right at our fingertips. We're in the age of information, where information is being downloaded like right now as we speak, as we're doing it. So, and understanding that's the physical part. You gotta, I mean, I know so many people that are pescatarians now because it's better for your lifestyle. That is, you know, I never even knew the word, but now I do, because so many people have adopted that lifestyle. So physical is important, mental is important. Read books. One of the reasons why we are where we are is because we read, we educate ourselves about things we don't know. How am I going to train you or teach you or coach you? And I don't follow the script. So I don't follow the script. So the wellness part of mental is feeding yourself. Financial, like Perry said, getting with someone who knows something you don't. I am really good at what I'm good at, but I don't know nothing about real estate. I don't know nothing about accounting. That's not me. I stay in my lane. So if somebody is, like he said, everybody's Rolodex in their cell phone should have an insurance person, a lawyer, a tax accountant, every single thing that handles the subject matter experts in those fields. You need to be able to call them, even if it's Legal Shield. Even if it's Legal Shield for a lawyer, start small. You have to have these resources. That's the only way you're going to be able to maneuver through this life the way you're supposed to. And then personal for wellness is self-love and self-care. I'm going to get my nails done, my feet done. I'm getting a massage. You have to take care of yourself.
Self-care.
Especially if you're going to be living until you're 85, right?
Absolutely. So y'all over here just
Yeah.
just dropping it left and right. I mean, so I love the way y'all have gone full circle, right? And showing how it's all interwoven and all connected, and how the mindset plays so much into what you're even doing, how you're living. But the whole part about, you know, the controlling your money, right? And having a plan for where it's going and putting it to work the way it's supposed to go to work, and you all deciding where it's going to go. That's all critical. We're dropping all kind of messages over here. We do have some people chatting in the on the Facebook chat. And Perry, there was a question about a book. I think there was a question for any book recommendations that came your way. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that question. And then there's just a lot of support out here as well. So P, any recommendations on the book piece?
Yeah, so like literally, it's a hard question to answer, because if I had my phone right here, I would show you my Audible, and I have a library of books. So I don't know what your actual need is. The way I kind of function with respects to books, I just don't read for the sake of reading. I read with a purpose, something that Nicole said. I love this word right here, intentionality and being holistic. So I read for a purpose. So for me to answer that question, I could give you a ton of books, but I don't know what it is that you need help with, right?
Okay.
So I'll share a couple of things that I just some of my go-to books. One of the first books that got me into my industry was outside of, you know, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was that Multiple Streams of Income by Robert G. Allen, one of the best books I've ever read, right? And kind of how I got into it from a mindset standpoint with that book. I probably picked that book up, had to be maybe 99, 2000 or something along those lines. But no, it's around 2000. I had moved to Columbus. So I moved from Akron, moved to Columbus. I was in an environment where people were making a ton of money. So I was being a personal trainer in a very affluent area. And, you know, folks was paying more in personal training per year than I made as a school teacher for a year, right? So I'm like, yo, what are they doing? So my deal is, and this is kind of a mindset piece, nobody is actually smarter than you. Right? We all have the ability to learn. We all learn different ways and different paces, but nobody is smarter than you. They just have exposure to information that you haven't been exposed to. So I believe that wholeheartedly. So I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna go read. And that book just opened my mind up to just so much absolute fire, because it was multiple streams of income. So it talked about making money in real estate. It talked about, you know what I'm saying, leveraging insurance products. It talked about, you know, infopreneurship. It talked about buying real estate in the whole nine. And I was mind blown. I was like, yo, it's 1,000 different ways to make money out here, right? So what I did from there was the book, and I can give a bunch of other books if I kind of know what the person's need is. But from there, I took the book, and then something that Nicole said, you know what I'm saying, about building that financial team or finding somebody who did it. I got into real estate because one of my clients at the time, I was his personal trainer. He's paying me crazy paper a month for personal training. And I was like, yo, he's about my age. I was like, how are you affording me? Like, what do you do? I was like, oh, well, I work here, but I got this real estate popping on the side. I was like, yo, I read these books on real estate, but I really don't know, you know what I'm saying, like how to implement it. So he's like, oh, he's like, well, you know what I'm saying, I can show you. I said, bet. I made a date. $1, I'll never forget, it's $1.50 cup of coffee, and that's tell you how long ago it was. $1.50 cup of coffee at Barnes and Noble. He rolled out the whole hookup. This is what I do. Guess what? Nobody's smarter than me. They just have information I haven't been exposed to. That $1.50 cup of coffee rolled into a $4 million real estate portfolio. That's when we had the all-white Jag sitting on Kobe. We had the Navy popping bottles. We talk about that. That was bad mindset back then. But
I remember that. I remember that.
but real talk though. So going to Nicole's point, you need to read, but also too, reading is that ain't gonna get it there, because that's information. You have to go from information to implementation. And how do you get from information to implementation? You find somebody who already did this shit. You find somebody who has already done it, who has a successor, who's done it for themselves, who's done it for other people. And stop listening to these clowns on social media talking about go do this, go do that. I don't care if you made some money. Have you helped anybody else make some money? That's how you know if you really know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You may have got lucky. Have you been able to do this and duplicate this multiple times and show that proof that this is what I do? You can't do that. Stop giving clown advice, but don't get me started, because then I get hyped. But information to implementation, the best condense that time frame is find somebody like Nicole said who's done it and can show you how to do it without making all the mistakes. You can condense that 20-year time frame down to a couple months and have your stuff together ASAP.
Well, Well.
Mhm.
I hope y'all enjoying this like I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, somebody's watching this right now. Somebody's gonna watch this tonight. Somebody's gonna watch it this weekend. I'm gonna tell you what, they're gonna enjoy every minute of it. I know I have. So listen, the thing is, don't take this information and keep it to yourself. Okay? This is gonna be boosted, which means thousands of people are gonna watch this. Do not keep it to yourself. I'm looking for the shares to go up because somebody needs to hear what they are dropping. So with that being said, we get ready to reel it on in, right? And package everything that y'all have been dropping. As we start to talk about, okay, next steps for people, right? Let's simplify it for them because Perry gave his 6, Nicole gave her 3. Some people are gonna add it up and come up with 9, not understanding that it's interwoven, right? So we're gonna break it down, right? And we're gonna say the 9 divided by the 3, and that's gonna give us 3. So if we say, hey, 3 key steps, right? These are the 3 key steps. And we simplified it for our people. We said, coming out, when they listen to this, they're gonna be like, okay, where do I start? Right? So if you had to say one thing, if you said the first step that you want people to do, and Nicole, we're gonna come to you first. The first step after hearing all of this great content, what's the first recommendation you would have for anybody who's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to get started? I hear what they're saying. I need to do. I'm stressed. The job, I'm not making the money I want to make, or I'm not using the money that I have the right way, right? What's the first step? And Perry, we're coming to you next.
You have to know the number. You have to know the number. That's where it starts. You have to know what's coming in and what's going out. If you don't know those numbers, there's no way you can start. I help teachers, Perry, just really quickly, and they don't even know what's coming out their paycheck. Oh, I signed up for this. Oh, I signed up for that. And I'm like, we need to reallocate that. This needs to go here, and this is better for you. So finding out the number and talking to someone that can help you with a plan. If you don't have that around you, you need to talk to somebody like one of us so we can help you. That's what I would say. Number 1.
Okay, number 1. All right, Perry, what's your number 1?
I'm gonna piggyback off of that, and my number 1 has changed through the years. I'm 20 years doing this thing. I'm on my 18 years this year doing this thing, and it's changed a lot because I've worked with different firms, and before I had my own shop, and kind of where I am now. How to get started. I think one, I totally 100% agree with Nicole with respect to know your number. Like literally, your cash flow, what's coming in and what's going out is the foundation of this thing. You got to know that piece. I'll go even a step, you know what I'm saying, even before that is you have to acknowledge that you actually need help. Like folks don't acknowledge that like they kind of know they jacked up. They don't know how jacked up they are. Like I do audits for companies and they have no idea. Like, hey, how much you pay yourself last year? Well, I don't know. I think I did this. Or I got to talk to my account. You don't know how much you paid yourself. To your point, Nicole, you don't know what's coming in and out. So my first step would be 1A and 1B. 1A would be acknowledge that you need some help. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of folks don't want to admit they need help. I wish I had asked for some help back when the real estate market had crashed, because I would have, you know what I'm saying, quadrupled that real estate portfolio I had. Right. But I didn't seek the right help. So 1, acknowledge that you need help. Right.
That's a gem.
Yep. Oh. And then 2, what I just did a presentation for Ohio State on this particular topic right here is, you know, you may not be in a position to hire somebody. Like me, I charge for a financial plan. I don't do free financial planning. You're going to invest in this process. You're going to be invested in it. Everybody can't pay my fee, right? And I totally appreciate that. But the one thing you can do without having to pay a fee, as far as a monetary fee, but you're gonna have to pay a time fee, is start to get your financial literacy up. I find this as the biggest challenge for some folk. Going back to what Nicole said about knowing your number. They don't know their numbers because shoot, they don't even know the language of finance, right? Like imagine this. I gave this presentation for Ohio State, and it was I said at the time I was over in a different country at the time. I was over in Dominican Republic where they speak Spanish, right? I don't speak Spanish. So I asked them, I said, understand that financial managing your finances and being successful in that space, you have to understand the language. If you don't understand the language, there's no way you can navigate. So I'm in Dominican Republic at the time. I don't speak Spanish. Tell me what challenges I have. And these kids just ran it off like, man, you got safety challenges. You can't ask for help. You can't order food. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Well, now move from Dominican Republic and come to the land of capitalism. If you don't understand how to speak money, if you don't understand the language of money, you will never win here, ever. So you don't have to hire a financial advisor, you know what I'm saying, or anybody to learn the language. You start learning the language, and that goes back to what Nicole said earlier, is the reading piece. So you could start there before you even get into the implementation. But you have to, the same way, if I want to live in Dominican, I'm gonna have to learn how to speak Spanish. If I want to live in France, I need to know how to speak French. If not, I'm going to be limited and I will not have access to everything that can be offered in that country. The same way with your paper. Learn the language, yo.
Learn the language. I don't know if it gets, come on, if you don't understand the language.
You have to know the lingo. When you're calling these people and talking to them, or when they're coming to you and they're talking to you about what they think is best for you, you have to know the lingo. That is important, very important. It's a lot of repeats, a lot of crossovers. Yeah.
Yeah. But let me say this. I didn't have lunch in front of me, but for Wellness Wednesday Lunch and Learn, I'm full. I didn't eat one thing this whole time, but the knowledge that y'all was sharing, the perspective, I'm overflowing. Like my belly, I got a belly ache from overeating in knowledge, right? So I appreciate what you all are dropping for not just me, but for our people, for our viewers. And once again, I'm gonna ask y'all to share this because somebody really needs this now. Their well-being is not right. They are not right. They are stressed. They are trying to figure it out, but they don't even know where to start. And guess what? Nicole and Perry have broken it down to how you get started. So with that being said, for those that watch this and they say, I don't have, and by the way, we had somebody actually said, I put the question, do you have, who's your financial advisor, who's your attorney, who's your insurance agent, all of those things, right? Well, nope, I don't have that. So they need that. So for you all, right, this is what you all do for a living. So how do they reach out if somebody has an interest in leveraging your services, right? And I know, Perry, your service is a little different because of the CFO piece, but I want everybody to know, how do they get in contact with you all if they need your services?
Go ahead, Nicole.
Ladies first, tnginsurance.agency, that's online. All of my contact information is there. My phone number, email address, and you hit me up and I will contact you and try to help you with starting to save, tackling debt, protecting what's yours. I absolutely love what I do. So that's how you can reach me.
All right. So y'all got it right there. And then Nicole, make sure you drop that in the chat too, so we have your exact URL and information too. And then Perry, how about yourself?
Yes, so you can go to perryjeffries.com. That's perryjeffries.com. Go to perryjeffries.com and go to the free resource page. From the free resource page, depending on what your need is, you can schedule a consult if that's kind of, if you're in the mindset that you're ready to move to implementation. So you have that available to you, but even more importantly, on there is a bunch of free content. So definitely go from there. You can find our YouTube channel. We got a bunch of dope videos out there from our podcast. So you can, go from there. You can get our podcast. From there, you can get our YouTube. Just a bunch of content that you can digest, coming from a place of expertise, but more importantly, a place of servitude and just trying to be a servant and help people out. So I realize everybody's not going to be my client, but also to know that the information I'm dropping, can be a benefit to everybody. So whether you become a client or not, I just want you to get the information. So go to perryjeffries.com, click on that free resource tab at the very top, and just get plugged into the matrix and get this information. And then at some point in time, if you're ready to move from information to implementation, schedule a consult and we can have that conversation.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing that as well. So listen, I just saw it. So Michael just came on. I see we had Shayna on, dropping a bunch of messages in there earlier. And Mike say he came in late, but he's catching mad gems, right? Already. So I know that a lot of people will end up seeing this. I'm going to ask you one more time is to share this, because this is the type of knowledge you don't want to just keep to yourself, right? This is how you help your community, our community, each other, you spread information like this. You know, Perry was talking about his site, and he talked about the podcast and things like that. And I know Nicole mentioned earlier, like reading, and obviously some of us listen. This is the thing, is we do live in an environment where you can learn anything you need to learn. Like it's all online. You have knowledge being dropped like this every day, all day around us. And if you're focused on a specific thing that you want to learn, you can go after it and you can get it. And then once again, you go from the information to implementation. All right. So there we go. So with that being said, y'all, last tips, right? So y'all have shared a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all gave the steps, recommendations. Is there anything else that we may have missed, right? Where it's two things. One is, as we get ready to wrap up, is there anything that you said, hey, I know I'm gonna be on the show, I want to drop something around this, and we didn't get to talk about that, right? Because I hate when we get done and it's like, I missed it, right? I meant to say this. So first I want to start there. Is there anything that you didn't say yet? And if you have, then it's good. But if you haven't, let me know.
Nicole, I'll let you go first. Ladies first.
Yeah. You gonna let me go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Chivalry all over this place. Chivalry.
For me, I wanted to talk about one of the biggest challenges with starting a business. I know there's a lot of people that's out there that's thinking about it. One of the biggest challenges I had was wearing a lot of different hats, trying to be social media person, trying to make sure my clients, I'm selling and I'm servicing, and I'm a mom of 2 sons, teenage sons. So wrapping it all together, it's doable, and we keep going back to the same old points because repetition makes it stick. Like repeating it over and over in your mind, like get with someone that can help you. It took me 7 months to roll my first $100,000. And after I did that, I knew I could be in business for myself. So tenacity is important. And I think with the whole wellness piece and just rounding it all up, you got to stay in the flow. And to stay in the flow, don't be somebody that you can't. If you need help, seek that help. Get with somebody who knows what you don't know. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's a major word of wisdom, y'all. That was a big gem that was dropped that a lot of small business owners or new business owners and entrepreneurs just don't know. And once again, you started off with saying you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's a big gem that was just dropped. Pete, anything we didn't talk about that you want to drop for us?
Man, Sister Nicole, I'm just gonna go ahead and just take the alley-oop that she just threw off the glass and come with 2 hands on it, right? I'm gonna just keep going with that piece because my passion and our niche is dealing with entrepreneurs and helping them with their finances. Going back to what she said, we do wear a ton of hats, right? And a great book out there, Making Money is Killing Your Business. Author's name is Chuck Blakeman. He's connected with me on Facebook if you go to my page. But Making Money is Killing Your Business. And in the book, Chuck says something that's super powerful. It's actually kind of after I read this, I knew the direction that we were taking our business. But he says, as an entrepreneur, you get so focused on making money that you actually never create a business because you are wearing all of those hats, right? So he said you need to have systems around 3 things: marketing, operations, and finances. Right. So you got to have these systems. So that's how we became a fractional CFO, because we know our system on the financial side is tried and true. We're one of the, only certified profit first professionals in the entire world who's actually a fully licensed financial advisor as well. So with that being said, I'll tell this kind of piggybacking off what Nicole said here. Got to be humble. Entrepreneurship is a team sport. This ain't one on a million. You need to build your team and be humble. So either you're in a position to hire those team members, and if you can't get the team members, then you need to get the systems. So if you're still you by yourself, you have these systems running so that you can still function and still be able to scale and grow your business. So sister, congratulations to you for being in business since 2019, being a road that first 100 and kind of seeing that clear path for yourself. And what you said right there with respect to the tenacity, absolutely it, y'all. So here's the deal. This is a team sport. Team sport. Last but not least, I'll use this example. Jordan won all those championships. Everybody like to compare him to LeBron. We ain't gonna spend, this segment doing that whole piece, right? But but let's keep it 100 though. What does Jordan and Kobe have in common? Both of them won championships running the exact same offense, the triangle offense. So they had the system with the exact same coach, Phil Jackson. Neither one of them won a championship till they had the system and the coach, which means you need the system and the team, right? So Jordan had to have a team, he had to have a system, and he had to have a coach. That is your winning formula for all of this right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, at that point, we just let the mic drop and we leave it there, right? The gems have been dropped left and right for the last 57 minutes or so.
That went fast.
We're going to wrap up, and I'm hoping that you all are feeling well, because it is definitely Wellness Wednesday. I want to thank Tawana Nicole Gibbs for joining us today. I want to thank Perry Jeffries III for joining us today, and for all the knowledge that you all shared. And I truly hope that people actually learn something from what was shared. So with that being said, y'all, make sure you check us out on ColumbusBlack.com, the website. That's where this will also be posted. It is obviously on Facebook. It is on YouTube. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, right? So we want to keep you active and engaged. And go to our website and make sure that you join our mailing list. You will get email blasts that will keep you abreast of all the great things that we have going on. And once again, I want to thank, even though we didn't have an artist on today, I want to thank Columbus Makes Art for being our Artist Voice sponsor. I want to thank Diversified Systems for being a sponsor on our Talent Tuesday events as well. And we want to keep it going. And on that note, we will catch up with you all later. And just remember to drop those gems. All right, y'all. We appreciate it. Everybody have a good one. And we'll talk to you all soon. See y'all next week.